What up? How are you, baby? I miss
Hey,
you.
hello. I miss you too. Happy almost show day. I mean, I want to
Thank
say
you.
like 1.5 days out. That's what we'll go with.
One, 1 3/4. Dude, I had a Laura episode. That could go a lot of ways. I had a Laura
I was just
episode.
thinking,
Yeah, bear with me. I had a Laura episode not this morning, but last waking. So Wednesday morning. I got up at like 3:30 and I was like, I gotta take a shit. And I was like, no, you can hold it. You can hold it. You can hold it till 5. And I looked at the time next. The next thing I know it's 4 o'clock. I was like, I can't hold it. It's coming. So literally I was up at 3:30 to take a fat fucking shit. And then like I went back to bed. I didn't like fall asleep. I just like laid in bed and rested and like meditated and just let my brain just kind of like do brain activities. And then I got up at like my normal time, like 5:30, I think. And then I was like, I gotta take another shit. And it was like, they were good poops. And I was like, I bet Laura would feel so proud of me right now.
so for those of you watching and listening to this, everybody has a poop o'clock. That's what I call it, a poop o'clock. That
Poop alarm.
even if you're getting up at a specific time for work or whatever you got to do, like there is this internal clock that says, nope, time to get up because you have to go to the bathroom. I am not the only one this happens
Yeah.
to. I guarantee other people go through this too. But anyways, one of the very many possibilities of having a Laura. I want you all to know what I was graced with this morning because last night I was like r- aimlessly scrolling on Instagram and I came across this on my like explore feed thing of some girl like breaking down how to twerk. And as Ashley has been saying, she wants to learn to twerk. And of course, not only
Which
did
is real,
Ashley,
guys.
I'm
That's a
trying to
real
follow
goal.
this tutorial myself too. But then this morning, I see on my watch, have a video from Ashley. I'm like, what the? And I figured it was a posing video. And so I open it, like about to get on an elliptical, and I near fell off because I was laughing so hard. So it was a posing video, Ash trying to twerk in her suit, in her heels, and it was something else, that's for sure.
Like it was one of those things where like I was like just checking in with Austin and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna send my gal pal a video. And so I like it looked like a posing video too because I was doing like my walks to the
Your
back. And so
workout, yeah.
it looked like a posing video. And then like I spread them and I
I
whatever,
was like, where
whatever,
is this
like
going?
I know, I was like,
Oh,
whatever I have left on my body, it was just like, mm, mm. And
mind you,
Eric was like,
nothing jiggles at this point. Nothing jiggles.
nothing
So
jiggles, nothing
you
jiggles. No.
will definitely have better
Um,
twerkability later on.
yes, yes. If
So
God wills
do
it.
you see yourself clearly right now? Because I see you all fuzzy.
Yeah, you're a little fuzzy. I see myself clearly, but at the same time, like it records like
Okay, so
locally.
it doesn't come like that on the video though.
No, no, like you're a little fuzzy. What's fuzzy on me is just the background blurring, but
I can't even see your facial features.
honestly, our Wi-Fi has been absolute dog shit. I'm so fed up at this point, but
Okay.
Eric and I will figure it out.
So I know you had mentioned you had a few things you wanted to go into.
Yeah, isn't that really embarrassing? I kind of forgot. Like it was show day experience about like letting it be. Like whatever is
Mm,
gonna happen, let it be. And like I watched, have you seen Inside Out 2? You probably should. You don't even need to see the first one, but you could if you haven't yet. Like it's not like super integral to like part one, part two. But I had my therapy session, my final therapy session on Monday, and she was like, my thing was like so focused on shaking on stage, and I was like, how can I not shake on stage? Doing all the chat GPT, like what peptides can I take, what supplements can I take, like what meditation, like all of the things to avoid this thing that is a completely normal human process when you are anxious, nervous, excited, adrenaline's pumping. Like some people just shake, whether you're a first time competitor or whether you're a fucking Olympia. Like if you're an Olympian, like people shake due to a variety of factors and you cannot control it. Yet I was trying to, right? Because in prep, Laura, as you know, you try to control all of the things so that way it goes as smoothly as possible. But sometimes if you have that special quirk in your personality or your DNA is damaged, like most of ours is, you start to lose focus on what you can control because you
Yes.
think you can control everything. But
Yeah.
here's the deal, you can't, right? And the whole thing is to control your controllables. But me shaking on stage is not something I can control because I cannot control my autonomic nervous system.
No.
You
I mean,
can't.
honestly, I
Like,
even experimented with that because I was also very nervous, as you guys all have known. Like, I've had some weird, dizzy, high anxiety, heart rate races, all this for like almost
mm,
a year now. November will be a year. That gives me vertigo, and I even got medication prescribed to kind of like mellow that out, and which I don't. uh, I'm hyper responsive to everything, but like I can't even have like a normal conversation with you. I feel like full-fledged drunk. So like there's no way I'm taking that on stage. There's no way I'm taking that in driving, even though that's
right.
cleared and approved. But you don't want to be that like dulled either, because I think that that would also take away from your presentation and honestly enjoying the experience, which you've worked so hard. How many weeks was it? 6 weeks, 7 weeks between shows?
It was like between 6 and 8. I honestly don't
Okay.
remember. I don't know if that's bad or not, but like,
No, whatever. Honestly, that
yeah,
means
I
it
don't
just kind of
remember.
flew by and you made the most of it,
Mhm. Yeah.
which you did.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like I was, talking with my therapist and I was like, literally getting emotional and crying about it because I was just so paralyzed by fear. And she was like, at this point, she's like, you're trying so hard to squash a very normal human response. And she's like, if you try to do that, you're going to not enjoy show day because then you're going to go numb to everything else. And then I watched Inside Out too, because her saying you can't snuff out anxiety. If you do, you're going to snuff out all the other ones. I was like, oh, that reminded me of this Disney movie, Inside Out 1, where Joy literally tried to get rid of sadness. And like all the other emotions went fucking haywire because they didn't have balance. Right. And I was like, I wonder if Inside Out 2 would be helpful homework. And on Wednesday, I got my lashes done. I got them lifted
I can't see
and
shit right now. Like I
extended.
said, your face is still fuzzy. Oh, oh,
No,
right up the nostril.
right up the nosy. But it was something where anxiety was introduced along with like boredom and envy. And dude, when I tell you again, when you get your lashes done, like lifted, you're not allowed to get them wet. So you can't like wash your face, you can't
Yeah,
take a
same with the
shower, and you can't,
extensions.
yeah, exactly. And you also can't cry. When I tell you I sobbed several times during that movie because I felt seen by a child's movie. Is that not crazy?
I'm
Is
just
that not
thinking you
crazy?
talking yourself off. Don't you dare cry. You're gonna fuck
Dude,
up your
dude, I
lashes.
was like,
Don't you do?
I was like, stuff it in. But I was like, I can't help it. And then, like, even when we finished it, like, I was just floored about how amazing they did at depicting what anxiety looks like for a lot of us and what it means to not feel good enough. Right. And what broke my heart is I feel this at damn near 30 years old, but the character in the movie was 14. But that's when it starts. It starts when you're a kid.
You know what's interesting, and I'm happy to say that, so I don't have to age myself, but something that I've definitely noticed throughout this, and you guys to remember, you're 29 now. You're going to be 30 next year, correct?
I'll be 30 in April.
She'll be next year. So I'll be 38 in October. So like I'm almost 10 years older than her. I did not feel that I started really stepping into being more secure in myself, I guess you could say, and like constantly with the inner dialogue battles and, all of that nitpicking and whatever until I hit like mid 30s. So the fact that you're starting to see that now is good. I would say I was like 33, 34. Um,
Wow.
but it's one of those things that people, and I'm seeing that even more now with gut issues too, working with clients. It's not even necessarily the habits alone that need to change. It's the like confidence and maturity of the person that needs to evolve with that to be able to say, what, like I don't fucking need this person, or I don't need this stress, or I'm not gonna let this bother me. And that's a maturity that I strongly feel comes with age too. So I'm
Mm.
glad that you're starting to see that now, almost like in my experience prematurely because it changed my life from being that person that hyper focused and nitpicked every little thing to the person that honestly now is not that often bothered.
I think we're so sometimes concerned about self-improvement that we try to improve the things that we have no business touching. Right? Because like it's not your job to do it. Like, and Eric said something that was very powerful for me. And I also have like a prep notebook of when my friends, family have said something that really resonated. It's in my prep notebook that I'll probably put together as like a nice little PDF for other people to just have in the back of their brain. Because like again, the negative self-talk and prep, but even just like as a whole by women is just it's too much. Right? It's too much. And so I want to like release this, not for a cost benefit, but like these are some things that people have said that really resonated with me. And I'm
Mm,
sure your friends and family have said very similar things. So I'll probably like get to work on that soon. But he said the reason why you feel like you have so many faults, he's like, is you're willing to recognize them and work on them. He's like, most people don't have that self-awareness and that courage, right?
yeah.
Most people just accept that they're a victim, the universe is out to get them, or they just don't even know that they engage in these types of toxic and negative behaviors. They are just like, oh, they're happy little like they're just me. It's just me being me. And it's like, well, you're a fucking bitch. And that's not okay. Like you don't need to be mean to yourself and be mean to others. Like that's not okay. We shouldn't be tolerating that nonsense. But I think it's just something where you do get so tired of being mean to yourself where like my thing is I just wanted peace. I just wanted to be free of myself. And it's like when you're getting to that point again where you want to feel free from your own thoughts, like that is very sad and very scary because you literally only get one life. And also on that other side of that coin, this is also your first time being alive. Like you don't have, and like even if you believe in reincarnation, like this is your first time with conscious thought being alive, right? Everything, even if you are, it's familiar, it's still new.
Is that saying there's a difference between being alive and actually living, and that couldn't be more true because, you can go through the mundane motions of the every single day, but if you're never doing anything, and honestly, this is something I'm actively trying to work on too, having been in not even just like a prep affiliate, but just like where I want to have balance within reason of my life with work, bodybuilding, and all of that, and like refiguring out kind of who I am too, because that's a very large portion of my life. But kind of figuring out all over again, like what else is important to you? What else is, brings you joy? And like that may not even be just a personal activity or whatever. It's like what you can do for other people. And that's something that like I've noticed I really enjoy too.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's something that's so important. So it's like, it's great to control your controllables, but don't let those lines of control blur into other things. Like I said, you have no business touching, right? And like if you try to control it, usually, and not usually, it does create a conditioned fear response where you try to control things that you have no business touching, and then your body goes haywire because then it views everything as a threat, which is why you see people with so many gut issues, is because they're so filled with anxiety and stress and fear that like everything that happens to them is a reaction. And when they react, they freak out versus understanding that like your body knows how to function without you. Like it does. That's how we've evolved as human beings. That's why we have an autonomic nervous system. Because literally, if we had to think about digesting our food, if we had to think about breathing, if we had to think about beating our heart, we would be dead the minute we were alive
Yeah.
because we would just not be able to do it, right? Because this brain can only do so much, but this brain does so much that we don't even like think about what it does, but it keeps you going. This one holds you back. So it's getting to know this one and making peace with that, especially if you find your brain as an enemy, which I did for the longest time. Because it's like you don't make peace with your friends, right? You make peace with your enemy. So it's like shaking hands with the fact that you're going to have anxiety, you're going to have jitters, you're likely going to shake. You're human. Congrats.
I think that goes even just beyond being on stage too, though. Like that's any new endeavors, anything you're unsure of, things that make you uncomfortable, all of the things because, it's natural to feel those type of emotions, but also natural to give yourself a little pep talk and try to dive into them to improve. And I think that like jokingly serious this morning when I said to you, I was like, I hope you channel this when you're on stage. And I mean that because it more of the like fun and carefree and in like enjoyable aspects of like being happy and alive and present and all of that, even though it was like a goofy video, but like that with you because that is what I want you to also be able to somewhat experience on stage.
It's funny you said that because even when I journaled today, which journaling has helped me immensely, I really thought I would hate it at first because I thought it was stupid and silly. But in reality, like it is so grounding, right? And I'm bringing my journal backstage with me because like I want to remember people's names. I want to remember how I felt, the good, the bad, the ugly, the fantastic. One of my favorite compliments I was ever given is, I think it was a compliment. I took it as a compliment, is you have a big personality. And for the longest time, even in my first show, I tried to snuff that because I wanted to be perfect on stage, which meant I took out all of my earrings, I took out my bull ring, I took out my belly button ring, and I tried to fit myself into who I thought, this bikini model of Ash Markham was. And I'm not saying that like was the reason why I shook on stage because obviously it's not. But like this presentation, I bought a belly button ring and I never wore it because I was like, oh, I shouldn't do that because bikini standards. But fuck it. I'm wearing my goddamn bull ring. I'm wearing my belly button ring. I'm gonna wear likely these piercings that I probably shouldn't wear because it's not very bikini, but it's Ash Markham bikini. Right. And I know when people are nervous, sometimes they'll say, like, oh, get an alter ego on stage. And dude, if that works for you, fucking fantastic. I'm glad that you channel in your inner stripper, OnlyFans girl, like whoever you want to like be on stage, you be that. I have prepped being Ash Markham, and I want to be Ash Markham on stage. If that means I shake, then I'm Ash Markham on stage who shakes, but I'm still going to have fun because I finished what I set out to do in January. And it's not even in January because that's when I started dieting, but it has been a culmination of not even in 2019 when I first competed in bodybuilding, decided that I wanted to do this. Like, this has been a culmination since I was obese. You know what I'm saying? Like this has been a body that has lived such a full and exciting and hard life for only 29 years. It started then. And so no matter what happens, like I'm happy that I'm still here. I'm grateful for this experience. I'm grateful for all the lessons that I've learned. I'm grateful for the revelations. I'm grateful for the trials because, like, I felt like I did turn over a new leaf, as cheesy as that sounds. And I want to take that very important lesson and take it with me into my reverse in my off season and whatever else life has in store for me, whether I'm still to decide to compete or whether I try to do something else. I don't know.
I think I've talked about this before, but in the event that I haven't here, I know I've talked to you about it, but I used to be so resentful for, the girl who came from like basically the purple on paper, the perfect childhood, like great relationship with my parents. I was a gymnast. We never struggled financially, like all the things on paper that, very loving, supporting, all that. And I always struggled with everything. I struggled with myself. I struggled with eating disorders. I struggled with exercising disorders. I struggled with having friends, making relationships, keeping relationships, all of the normal things that you see everybody else have no issue doing. And I used to be so resentful for that and never really understand like almost the like why me mentality. And the why me was because eventually down the line I was going to help other people with very similar issues. And I don't think that you can fully understand what those issues are, or at least feel like not even just the physical act, but like where the mental aspects of that goes until you've walked in those shoes. And that aspect of it, I'm grateful because I understand now with a lot of the people that I'm dealing with and working with, and like that level of suffering and discomfort and honestly self-hate, and like how to assist at least as much as I can without crossing, I'm not a therapist or whatnot, but crossing lines and still being supportive and helping them out of those dark periods.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
mean, you learn more about your trials and your challenges than usually your successes, right? And it's something
Yeah,
where
for
it's like,
sure.
hopefully you do learn from them. And I know I did. And like, I feel like no one really talks about like the benefits, like the brain benefits of competing, because there are a lot of them. And granted, I also think it's good to not sugarcoat prep because I know it looks glamorous in fucking photos that last a point second and we talk about all the negative health benefits and even all the negative mental health benefit or all the negative health and physical, and they are very real. They very much exist, but it's not all just shit, right? You can learn a lot about yourself and your strength and your resiliency and your tenacity when you enter into a prep and when you finish the race, no matter how you finish, right? Because even if you're out of shape, you likely still suffered your level of suffering. right? And I used to be so like shitty about other competitors, and like you don't know their story, you don't know their background. And sure, maybe they did just buy a suit and step on stage, or maybe, they did it differently and had their own trials and tribulations. But at the end of the day, again, you can't control their journey and you can't control whether or not they show up. You only control how you show up, right? It's still like if you're backstage, like you are surrounded by strong men and women that finished, right? Because there's, I think, like 60 competitors at this show, mostly
Crazy.
men.
Still a
Like
small
there's
show.
only 20 girls, there's 21 girls, and the rest are men, which is crazy to me because normally it's like kind of, the reverse. But still, it's like, okay, let's say there's 50 to 60 people at this show. There might have been 150 that started that had to pull out for their mental health, their physical health, financially. Maybe they lost a job. Maybe their spouse lost a job. Maybe there was a family crisis and like they could not continue on. So whoever's backstage, y'all made it. Like be a part of that community because you're in good company. Like be social. Like I'm not saying you guys need to like, you know, go crazy nutso backstage, but like those men and women love what you love, do what you do, right? That's really rare because bodybuilding seems really ginormous on Instagram because like you're able to follow so and so knows so and so. But like if you go out to Walmart and you're like Derek Lunsford, people are gonna be like, who? Right? Like normal people are not going to know who that is, right? Even though we like cream our shorts if we like, see him passing by in person, which I've never done, but I would cream my shorts because that'd be really cool for me. But like what I'm saying is like it's just so small to be a good sport backstage. Like, if people need help, if you need to share stuff, like I'm not saying like share water bottles or anything like that, but like just be immersed in the culture and the community because show day does go by so quickly. And that's my goal. It's like no matter how I present on stage, like I just want to bring my big personality and I want to bring my big heart because I'm really proud of those.
As you should. I mean, I would say backstage has been some of my best pastimes for, like, making
Mhm.
lasting relationships and friendships. Hannah was one of my closest friends. We met our first show together in, uh, 16, and we're still friends.
Mhm.
One of my clients now, her name's Ryan, and we also met at that same show, which now, almost 10 years later, I'm her coach. So you never know, one, what could be a business opportunity, two, what could evolve into a friendship, and three, like, just I feel like it makes the entire process of the day, one, go by faster because everybody knows show day is hurry up and wait. And then two, just to like be around other, like you said, like-minded individuals. They enjoy the same things. I will never be that person that is like, fuck everybody else. I'm not talking to anybody. I'm focusing just on myself. I'm getting that
Yeah.
will never be me.
Yeah. And like I was firmly gonna go into show day with that, like, not fuck everybody else, but like I gotta do all the things to make me calm. And it's like I was literally getting freaked out about like how calm could I stay backstage. And I was like, dude, like even if you're like Buddha Zen backstage, like the minute that you like start seeing the crowd, you see the lights, you hear the music, like it's gonna get to you. So embrace it. Like invite whatever needs to happen, right? And then just talk to yourself. Be like, I earned this. I belong here. I'm grateful that I get to do this. I'm grateful for who I see in the audience, whether I know them or not, because they're either supporting me or they're supporting a fellow competitor that loves the same sport as me. And that's really cool. And like I said, if something happens, you don't nail your posing routine, you shake, you lose an earring, it's a minute and a half of kind of embarrassment. But if it's a lifetime of beating yourself down because you weren't perfect on stage, like that's not worth it. You know what I'm
Just keep
saying? So
going.
like,
That's all you
just
need
keep
to tell
going.
yourself is just keep going. I made a great example of that when I got nervous and, felt I had to scurry off stage and just whoop, reverse opposite direction, carried on, made it look like it was supposed to be, and that's it.
Mhm.
Same thing. You're shaking, you mess something up, whatever, just keep going.
Exactly. Like my anxiety was like, but oh my God, what if you fall and trip? And literally, you know what I said to my anxiety? And I say it out loud because that to me helps me process. Like, what if you trip? Then I will fucking crawl to that center box and I will do whatever
Fun
I can
fact.
fucking do.
Fun fact, I actually know a girl who this was a WBFF, but she tripped and fell on stage, actually broke her ankle and still won the show, right? Still
Damn,
won the show. Won her pro card. So you'll be
that's
fine.
crazy. I mean, God bless, right? But even then, it's like, even if the worst possible scenario, like something happens, your suit breaks, grab a tit, just do what you can. You know what I'm saying? Like
This
wardrobe
is why we suggest
malfunctions.
having a backup suit,
I mean,
FYI.
true, but I don't have one, right? I'll have my posing suit backstage, like for check-ins or whatever, which I mean, if I have to wear that, I have to wear it. You know what I'm saying? But like any scenario that's a worst case scenario that my anxiety likes to dream up, which I can't control, I can only control my response. It's, well, here's what I'll do to that to them. I'll crawl to the center box, let everyone know I'm good, be embarrassed as hell, probably have, a face full of red, but probably be shaking even worse. Maybe I break something, but you know what? I'm going to try. I'm gonna try to have fun because at the end of the day, it's like this is my last show of my season. I finished what I started, and that is my definition of success.
It's very easy to let your brain spiral into all of these different directions. That was something that I used to do with quite literally everything prior, but eventually, like you just have to realize that like none of it's that serious. Just isn't. You've worked, you've done all you can, you put in as much effort as possible. Rest is just going to be up to how the day goes.
Exactly. And one of my friends that is local said something really sweet. She's like, no one more deserves to be up on that stage than you. She's like, not everyone has like the discipline for 5 years of waiting. And I was like, again, I don't think of like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm just so focused on the fears that like when you focus so much on your fear and anxiety, at least I tend to forget all the work that went in. Like that's why I had such like a piss poor attitude when I first competed because I was like all the work that I put in was for nothing. All the time, the energy, the like everything was for naught because I didn't nail it on stage when I was supposed to. And like that's not true. Like I decided to make that not matter and take it away when in reality it was my own choice. It was my choice to discredit my hard work, which is why I had such a hard time. Right. I had a hard time processing that because I was like, it was literally for nothing. Like I did everything I was supposed to and it didn't work the way it should have. Right. But in reality, it worked exactly how it needed to. And that's something I just didn't consider.
I think the biggest something that came out of that is the learning experience that came along with it that kind of puts your mental state in a positive direction that will continue to stay positive even out of prep.
Hmm. Yeah. I want to impart some words of wisdom that Eric gave to me, but it was actually from his mom. And his mom is she's one of the sweetest people alive. She really is. When you're having a really hard time, you're anxious, you're scared, you're fearful, you're nervous about something. It could be on stage, it could be a job interview, it could be something that you are kind of looking forward to, but also it's filling your soul with what if, what if, what if, what if, and you feel yourself spiraling. And you're focusing on all the made up scenarios that have like a 0.00000001 chance of happening, and you're like entertaining those thoughts. Flip the script. What are you excited about on that day? When he asked me that, I was floored because again, I was so hyper fixated on the 30 seconds. Like literally, this is how bad it was. And I'm going to be honest about it. The 30 seconds, and that's pretty generous that I'm on stage, especially by myself, I almost quit. I was bawling on the floor on Monday because I like laying on the floor because it's really good for my back. Like I will just like supine lay down, just like embrace it. I was sobbing on the floor. I looked like a toddler fine because I was like, I can't do this. I'm not gonna do this. I fucking quit. This is stupid. I'm still like literally, I said that out loud because I was having a moment. It was right before my therapy session. And I was like, these fucking contest prep, like notebook things that my therapist had me do don't fucking work. So I looked at them, I started reading them, and then I sobbed even more because one of the things that written to myself was, you finished even when you wanted to quit. And I was like, fuck. And then I cried even more because I'm like, damn it, I'm right. I will finish what I start no matter what happened. And then I had a fantastic therapy session. But that was the truth. That was my Monday, right? Was me almost quitting. And then if you flip the script and being like, I paid, I don't know, 130 for tan. The show entry fee was only 125 because I could only do one class. I was willing to just light $260 on fire. Like it was nothing. Nothing. what a blessed life. What a blessed life. So like I was so focused so much on that small little window of my life that I literally almost quit for that short little window. And what would have happened is I would have lived the next 120 years because I'm immortal, regretting that I never finished what I started. And I was like, you're better than that. So go be
I
better
wanted
than
to
that.
quit every show I did this season. I did 3 shows in a row.
But that's the thing is like, that's the thing is most people don't talk about
Yo,
like that side because they're just like, oh, everyone's fucking whoopty doopty on Instagram. It's like, no, it's not always whoopty doopty. It's real. It's hard because we're scared or something happens where we doubt ourselves. But
I think
if you're
there's more
religious,
doubt than
mhm.
confidence, to be totally honest, especially for like the not genetic elite and whatnot. Eh, And it's not even just a physique thing, it's a personality trait. Unless you're a
Mhm.
very confident and almost maybe borderline cocky person in general, which you can kind of tell that on stage, you're always going to be second guessing yourself, and like that's just the way it is. I don't know if it's a sign like I think that's I'm a Libra, and I think that that's pretty coinciding with being a Libra. Whatever the universe decided that that's the reason that you feel like that, and I feel like that, and you feel like that, whatever. But it's kind of learning how to not change that about yourself, but work with it about yourself.
Yeah. No, it's one of those things also where it's like if you are spiritual, doesn't have to be just religion, but if you're spiritual, it's like what does your book say? What does your God think or your spirit, your mother? What words of wisdom do they give the people of those followers and believers? Because every single, to my knowledge, most religions have like some form of comfort about like anxiety and fear. And like since I am religious, like for me, it was Second Timothy 1:7. And it says, for God gave us a spirit, not of fear, but of power, love, and self control. And I was like, that's bodybuilding. That's what bodybuilding is to me. I train hard in the gym because it makes me feel powerful, right? The self control that you need for this sport, you need it. Like it's a non negotiable, it's a requirement because you do things that you don't want to do and you have to do them consistently. And then something that I learned like you mentioned, is doing it in love and not hatred. Because I did that the first time. It worked. It's an option, but I hated it. I hated the experience. I hated show day. And when I flipped the script and flipped my mindset, it's like it's been more enjoyable. It really has been. And it's not that it fixed me. It's not that I'm not nervous, but it reminded me that I'm human and I'm meant to feel all of the things and I'm meant to just try my best.
I don't know that I've been giving a lot of thought into this lately, and some of it is just where I'm at in my journey with bodybuilding. But at the end of the day, like show day is such a blurb in time, like such a small blurb. Like everything else going into that needs to be adding to your cup and things that you enjoy, like to an extent. Like you should be liking what you are doing, how you look, how you feel. I'm not saying you need to love every second of it. I'm not going total opposite end of the spectrum, but I'm also saying like you shouldn't be miserable either. Um, and if that's how anyone even listening to this is feeling, like make a pros and cons list of like why I'm doing this that is good, why I'm doing this that is bad, and then kind of give yourself a rational decision of like maybe I want to look the part, but I don't actually want to get on stage. Or, maybe I love getting on stage, but I really don't fucking want to work that hard. Neither one are wrong, but just I think making peace with what is actually right for you will make whatever journey or direction you go more enjoyable.
Things that we love also breed room for pain and suffering. They do, right? I was miserable at certain points in my prep with my brain, which I could control. But then you're also to some extent, I was miserable on some of the days where even like when my brain was like fine, my body hurt. That I would label as misery. The joints hurt, the muscle hurt. You have cardio that you need to do, steps that you need to do, food that you get to sniff but not eat. Like that to me was miserable, but it was misery with gratitude. It was really hard for me to be grateful for my own mental state. So I definitely see what you're saying, but that's my take on it. Is like contest prep will be miserable when you have like the body of an 80-year-old and you just like can't get out of bed because it's so hard. You don't have the energy and everything hurts. That is still that's shit. It's like I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's hard, but like if you're adding insult to injury, you know what I'm saying? By just like being a dick to yourself. Like again, you can do it that way. You are more than welcome to. To Laura's point, it's an option. Not an option I would recommend. Not anymore. We're gonna sound like Care Bears. And some people are gonna be like, yo, they're fucking soft. You know what? It's not soft. It's real. Because I
Went
tried the
down
hardcore shit.
I went down the rabbit hole thinking about this the other day because if you notice, there's a lot of people that turn pro, but there's not nearly as many people that compete as pros, specifically women. And then I started kind of asking myself, well, okay, like, why do I think this is? One is going to be like misusage of enhancements, viralization that's taking place, you know, losing sight of who and what you are. Life changes anyways. Like I feel like most people that get into competing are like really go gung ho, like mid-20s or so, and that's also the age that people start getting serious or married or children or whatever.
Yeah.
But the shelf life specifically for females, majority speaking, I'm not saying everybody, is pretty short if they even
Yeah.
make it to the pro stage, and it kind of gets you questioning, like, well, why? Is, are these things that I'm practicing working for me, not working for me, things I want, not want? That was kind of where I went with it.
If I had my take on it, I think the guys struggle more with, and granted, I'm not a man, so I probably shouldn't speak on this, but if I had to guess, men probably suffer more from health problems due to how much they have to run and how lean they have to get, especially because you and I are in the second and third fattest division, which I mean, I'm not saying that like we're fat on stage, of course not, but like we also don't need like our glutes inside out, right? So it's like the bigger
Appreciate it.
division and the more conditioning, yes, the more health risk, absolutely. But if I had my stab at it, I think it's because most women just suffer through with such high functioning anxiety that they kind of wear as a badge of honor. Like they view like what they do and how they do it as who they are. And when they get to that end goal and they realize they destroyed who they are in the process, then it's normally, I hate bodybuilding. And then they don't ever use anything. And like, I don't want that. Right. And
I
it's
don't
not
either.
that I wouldn't love the journey of, trying to earn my pro card, but that's no longer my goal. Right. Because for the longest time, it was my goal and I hated how I lived my life. I did. I genuinely was miserable because at my own expense. And now it's like, I just want to have fun on stage to see honestly if I even like it. And if I don't, then I'll probably do what Laura even mentioned. Like instead of the end goal being like bikini stage ready, dude, I might fucking do a bomb ass photo shoot. You know what I'm saying? I might do literally anything else. I might get tanned, I might get glammed. I just might never pay the entry fee or the NPC card. And there's nothing wrong with that because that's how I want to live my life. Again, I'm not saying that's my decision, but that's an option for me and I've considered it.
There's there's so many different things to take into account with that and like what's important to you and what you want. And like looking at Ashley and I were two totally different wants for long term. Like I'll always love bodybuilding, want bodybuilding, live the lifestyle too, but I also want a family. And those really don't fucking mesh, especially within a wellness figure, more muscular category that does require enhancements for most people and not just a tiny bit of this or that. Like really to achieve that level of conditioning, growth, all of the things. And that's, you've been very good with talking about what your struggles are. And that's kind of what I've been having a hard time with lately. One, not just for the fact that, fertility reasons, but two, like my body fucking hates everything. Everything. Like my wiggle room for enhancements is very, very small. If sometimes at all. Um, and it's frustrating because I love the sport. I love the training. I am that person that dies under every exercise they get into and live for that. But at what point is it having a negative return that may not necessarily be worth the while?
Yeah, I
Doesn't mean
mean, you have
quitting current moment.
no, it's you weighing an option and it's you being real because like you said, this is where you struggle and this is where you're scared. This is your stage fright. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you don't want to fuck up your health pursuing a goal and well, congratulations, you now have to adopt. Like if you want to carry your baby or, and if you ruin your health and then it's like, well, can I get a surrogate with my egg? Like
There's no
that's an
guarantees for
option.
anything ever. And
Yeah.
I have run into so many people lately, and I'm sure it's common. I'm sure there's plenty of people that are going to watch this and say, fuck, I went through that too. Like difficulty conceiving, difficulty carrying, having miscarriages, all of the things. And then you start thinking about the fact that, like, okay, this isn't necessarily okay, I try once I get pregnant, I have a smooth 9-month semester term and have a baby and that's it. Like you can't depict that ahead of time.
Yeah. Like you can't have a perfect pregnancy in the same way you can't have a perfect prep. And I had two friends that are one is currently in pregnancy route, her third trimester, and one already has her child. And they both have been in prep and they both have been pregnant or are pregnant. And they have both said that pregnancy is way harder than any contest prep. I firmly believe that. I firmly believe that because I know how their pregnancies went and they were fucking miserable, right? But also, it's one of those things that I will never be pregnant. And if I was joking around with my one friend who, again, she has her child. I was like, if I do get pregnant, I am keeping it. And here's why. The measures that motherfucker and I have taken to not have a child,
Meant to
like
be.
it would be something where, again, like I have Meredith Gray's uterus. If you don't watch Gray's Anatomy, just Google Meredith Grey uterus hostile. I have a hostile uterus. I have dead ovaries, and Eric's tubes are tied. So if he has like a Samson sperm and I have like a Samson egg, I'm either carrying the next Jesus Christ or the Antichrist, and I gotta let that shit just happen. I gotta let that shit happen. I owe it to everyone on planet Earth to let that shit happen. But all
Oh
jokes
goodness.
aside, I'm not having a family, other than cats and maybe fish. We'll talk about it. We'll see. Um, but I can only relate prep to pregnancy because that's the only thing that I know that's really, really hard, other than like other dark things that I'm not going to bring up at this time. And there's a lot of mirrors of pregnancy and prep, which I find to be fascinating because they're very extremes. There are resources to grow another human life, which is beautiful. And then you are taking away resources to literally take away parts of you for this end stage goal. But you can't think for shit. You're constantly in pain. You're constantly hungry. You can't like put a sentence together in your native tongue that usually makes sense half the time. And like your low back hurts, it hurts to sit, it hurts to stand. And it's something where your anxiety and your mood very similar because in pregnancy you have all these fucking hormones. And then in prep, if you're natural, you have no hormones, and that also makes you crazy. And if you're enhanced, you have extra hormones, which also makes you crazy. So it's like, again, I'm not comparing the joys and hardships of pregnancy to the joys and hardships of prep in the way where it is to be offensive. It's just how I relate to them because I'll hear their struggles and I'm like, yeah, dude, I get it. I get it. Like my pussy is also dry. You know what I'm saying? It's something where it's like,
Well, it's
I
funny
want
'cause
to make, go ahead.
so I was gonna say you have like a very selfish act to the most unselfish act, and like you said, mirroring one another.
It is
The
crazy how it mirrors, right? Because it's like you have a husband that doesn't know what the fuck to do because it's like you're crying all the time. And it's like they don't know whether to give you an Oreo or to make sure that you stay on your diet. It's like, the husband and the significant other, the partner, is just equally as stressed out. But the grocery bills are about the same because what happens is you end up buying more groceries and more like, sub sandwiches when you're pregnant. But when you're in prep, you end up buying like other bullshit stuff that you'll never need. But like again,
mm,
it just equals out financially as well. Hospital bills, contest prep bills, it adds up. So I think it's just very interesting how they have a lot of similarities of struggle and grit because both are hard and both are beautiful. And I understand why people say contest prep is selfish. I really do. I just don't like to use that in myself, right? Because I think what we do as bodybuilders is really beautiful because while it requires a lot of self-control and self-discipline, being selfish in the sport, that's optional. Like you can still prioritize things that need to be prioritized in your life. In fact, you should, right? But you can do it still with a heart that is, gratitude and that still thinks of other people, you know?
just for an alternate perspective, selfish doesn't necessarily need to be a negative connotation. Selfish can be
Ooh.
looking to prioritize yourself, and that's what I mean by what I say selfish is it is very self-focused, but it doesn't
Ooh.
necessarily need to be negative.
I like that because I have a
Live in it.
negative connotation with the word selfish, right? Because I think selfish, it's like, oh, you're being selfish. That means like self-centered. Like I like that. Ooh, I
Sometimes, but
like
not
that
always.
perspective. I like that. I like to be self-reflective and self-guarded and self-selective, right? I think selfish for me is like negative, which I mean doesn't have to be. That's my choice to view it as negative. But I think being selective and intentional is really powerful. Which again, both pregnancy and bodybuilding are both very powerful because you have to have so much strength and resiliency to get to your end goal. I hope none of the moms watching me is like, fuck you, Ash. You don't know what you're talking about. Because you're right. I don't. I have no idea the love, the joys, the hardships, the pain of pushing a watermelon outside of a kiwi hole.
I
You're
am
right. I will
petrified of that.
never,
Nothing in
girl,
this life scares me more than that. I'm not even
the,
gonna lie.
the thing is like you have really big hips. Your torso's tiny. So you're going
No,
to have
I
a
don't.
lot.
I have no hips. None.
Your hips aren't wide. They look, maybe
No.
you just got a fat ass then. Good for you.
Everyone in my
Inshallah.
family actually makes fun of the fact that I am like I'm the
Oh,
only one too. Everybody else,
girl.
it's like it's very much a like female Jewish woman physique, like kind of a I
Yeah.
guess you would say a peer, but I'm
Hair.
not. I
Ooh.
am like
I don't know if I don't think I have white. I have a tiny waist, but I don't know. I have a nice hourglass figure. I do. It was hiding under, 200 pounds of squishy fat. But I don't know. I don't know, man. Like, I just don't know. Like, I'd
this is
rather,
funny. I was talking about this. I got my nails done yesterday, and my nail lady was we're talking for the fact because she's actively trying to get pregnant. She's actually 46, and she's
ooh, good
gone
for her.
through losing 2 babies at this point. I had 2 miscarriages, and I was talking about it, and she is, I think she's from Vietnam, and she is very dead set on, I don't want to do IVF, I wanna carry this naturally, I don't wanna do any of that, like, if kinda like you're saying, if God is wanting this for me like this is how it's gonna be, and if not, that's okay. I was talking to her, I was like, honestly, like, I would be very pro surrogate. My brother actually did that experience, not by choice, but because they couldn't safely carry, but it was like $150,000. It's insanely expensive.
Laura, if you would pay me 150 grand, I will carry your child. I will, for 150,000 G's, I'd
Well,
carry your baby.
she was saying that you can go to, like, another country and it's significantly cheaper, and I'm like, well, it's not even that you just pay, $150,000, it's you also pay their health insurance for an entire year. So it's the 9 months they're pregnant and 3 months after they have the baby. So it's like an additional $700 a month for insurance too. It'd be
I'm
cray.
just saying, girly, offer stands. If you go that route due to those
See,
circumstances for a
there's
hundred
no
and
there's, no, what is association, federation, one of those, agency.
oh
There's no agency fee, so if you deduct that 50 grand that goes to the agency and take 100, I'll do it.
Eric, $100,000 to carry Laura's baby. You think that's a good deal? That's a damn good deal to me. Well, you can't
Eric,
carry a
did you just say I'll
child.
do it?
He said I can't. He's like, I wouldn't do it. I was like, I'm not fucking asking you. For 100 fat stacks, I would carry your baby. I would totally fucking do that. It's only 9 months of whatever. I'll start doing Kegels now. I'm already doing ab stuff. Like, let's go, dude. I'm sitting on a yoga ball. We can have an at-home birth. Dude, I'm down. Dude, I'm
Wait,
down.
this has gone everywhere, but speaking of, did you see Courtney and C-Bum are on their second baby? Good
Yes, that's so nice. I'm so happy for
for them.
them.
I envision them having, like, a little army, like, 3, 4 kids. That's what I consider an army for having children.
Floor, you're gonna be overwhelmed with one. You're gonna be like,
Literally.
this is an army, and moms with like 5 kids are just like, lightweight.
For sure.
Oh
For
my
sure.
god. Do you have any final thoughts or any final closing fun questions?
That's all I got for today. We all, I'm speaking on behalf of all our viewers, wish you the best of luck this weekend. I don't even want
Thank
to say
you.
luck. Best of experience. I want you to just have fun.
Thank you. I love that answer. I've had a lots of like good lucks. You're gonna kill it, and I have a really hard time accepting that 'cause it's like my goal is to not kill it. But the people that have been like, I hope you have fun. I hope you find the joy. I hope you enjoy the experience. Those I love because you see me and you
That's it.
understand me.
Yeah. That's more in your control.
Yeah, dude. Absolutely. I have a fun question. When are you dyeing your hair red?
Funny you said. So I'm actually in the process of that and debating on doing it before or after for Italy because it's gonna be one of those like so right after doing this is what my hairdresser told me. Right after I do it, I have that like wiggle room that it's gonna fade quickly, and if I hate it, I could probably fix it. However, if I like it, I'm gonna have to redo it within probably a week. So I don't really want to do that, go on vacation, and then end up with pictures that are like orange-ish in the middle because it fades.
Oh yeah.
So we were trying. So I'm
Here,
supposed
tell
to
you
go
what.
down and I gave her a couple of test strips of my extensions, so she's playing with them. I'm gonna go see it on Saturday. If we could do it twice before I leave, great. If not, I'm going to do it when I get back.
Here's what I vote. Do it after Italy, so that way you can not have that stress. But then for Halloween, do Jessica Rabbit. Yes. Yes. Love
She
that.
can't see it, and I have a little visitor like, "Hi, mommy, ready yet, mom?"
Giving you a crotch sniff. Just why do they do that? Why do they like smelling your butt and crotch?
Can you
Dogs
see
and
her?
cats are weird.
Bunny,
Is that
say hi.
funny? That's funny,
Yes,
right? Yes. I love
she's
dogs and
always
cats.
like, "Mommy, ready to play yet, mom?
I
Mom."
love that. I love that. I have a nail appointment at 2 and it's gonna be gel. So how should I get my nails done? I'll let you decide.
If I can make one recommendation, don't do a French because when you get tanned, it dyes it, and it's a waste of
I
money. You
agree.
want it to still look nice after. I would do some type of a nude or like a light pink.
My suit is purple and blue though. So you think pink?
Like a very pale, like a pinky white.
What color? Will you send me swatches? Send me
Yeah.
swatches.
Yes.
Cool. I like the nude
Will do.
idea because my toes are white because no one's gonna see my toes.
Coconuts over OPI is a really nice color. That's a pretty nude.
Okay. I don't know what they have.
I'll
Again, I'm
send it to
doing
you.
gel, but yeah, send it to me.
Okay. Will do.
Cool. Love you. Have a
Bye.
good day.
Bye.
Bye.